fourth is variation in fiscal capacity. So, fiscal capacity refers to a jurisdiction's ability to raise revenue to finance public services. It varies across local and state governments based on tax base size and their ability to export taxes. Shift tax burden to non-resident areas with lower income and property revenue struggle more to generate revenue, leading to higher tax rates for the same service or a poorer service quality. So this is the example of fiscal capacity. So imagine of two towns. So town A is wealthy with high property values and incomes. So town B is a poorer with low incomes and property values. If both towns need to raise 1 million of public schools, Town A can do this with a lower tax rates because its property values are high. So Town B needs a much higher tax rate to raise the same amount, placing a heavier burden to its residents. So this shows this shows Town A has a higher fiscal capacity than Town B. So next, measures of fiscal capacity. So fiscal capacity measures such as per capita income, retail sales, and assist valuation estimate a government's ability to fund services. So with variations used for schools or property tax based systems and comparisons to national averages help identify areas eligible for fiscal equalization grants. So next is revenue effort. Revenue effort is the ratio of tax collected to personal income in the jurisdiction, indicating how intensively a government uses its tax base. So it may not reflect income differences or service costs across regions. So this is an example of revenue effort. So imagine two imagine the two cities. So city A city A has low average income but needs to provide the same level of public services as other cities. So to do this, it must collect a higher percentage of income through taxes. This means high revenue effort. City B has high average income and can collect enough revenue with lower tax rates. This means low revenue efforts. So even though City A works harder to collect enough revenue, the revenue efforts metric might make it seem efficient compared to City B. This show the metric doesn't fully account for income differences or varying service costs. So the next is in, integ- intergovernmental fiscal regulation. So these topics discuss how variation in fiscal capacity between states and local governments justifying the need for in intergovernmental aid. Such aids ensures the basic and level of public services across regions and helps use resources more efficiently through internalities, making sure everyone benefits from public goods. So, example, in 2007, federal aid made up 23% of state and local government revenue. These grants helps poorer areas deliver public services like education and healthcare which they could afford alone. So next is federal grants or modern focus. So most federal grants are category categorical grants to individuals such as Medicaid and Social Security programs rather than to state governments for infrastructure or development. So, example, so by 27, over two-thirds of federal grants were aimed at individual not for building roads or schools, but for direct benefits like healthcare and income support. Unrestricted versus restricted grants. So, grants from higher level of government to lower ones can be unrestricted or restricted. Unrestricted grants are example general revenue sharing can be used for almost any purpose. So restricted grants are limited to specific use and have strict rules and voting and auditing. So example, the US had a general revenue sharing programs and unrestricted grants so until 1986, which allowed local government to use federal funds freely. So next is block grants. So block grants are main type of unrestricted grants. They have few rules and usually don't require local governments to match funds. So example, the TAF temporary assistance for needy families. If a major block grants that helps states provides income support for low income families. So, fungibility of money. Fungibility means money is inter, interchangeable. It can be shifted for one use to another. This blurs the line between restricted and unrestricted grants, if un, even if grants has restrictions. It may still free of other local funds. Governments can redirect free up money toward tax cuts or other spending. So example, if grants face for public education, the local government might cut its own education budget and use the saved money to reduce tax